The rest of this policy covers the complaint procedures, the investigation, and corrective action. So let's talk about what happens if a complaint is made. The policy says that anybody who believes they've been discriminated against should report it immediately. An employee can report the conduct to any of the following: the employee's immediate supervisor, any other supervisor in the employee's chain of command, or the human resource manager for the agency, or any other individual designated to receive such complaints. And this is where it's really important for you, Archie, because you may have friends throughout the agency. You've worked here for a long time. So if one of your friends comes to you and you may not be his or her immediate supervisor, and they tell you that they feel they're being harassed, even though you're not their supervisor, because you are a supervisor, you have to report that. And it's really important for you to do that so that we ensure that no one in our workplace is being harassed. One of the things that I have seen throughout my career is that a lot of people don't feel comfortable reporting harassment. I think there's several different reasons why. They may be new to the work group. They may feel like they just want to try to fit in. I've even been told that they don't want to get the harasser in trouble. I have also seen people who are embarrassed. They're embarrassed by the harassment that they've received. And so it's really important to remember that when someone comes and reports this to you, to show empathy and to let them know that you are going to take care of it and that the behavior that they have been a part of will stop.
That's too bad that people aren't comfortable reporting these types of things. Is there anything that I can do as a supervisor to help people feel more comfortable speaking up?
Thank you for asking that, Archie. One of the things you can do is what we're doing right now, and that is talk to your employees, talk about it, go over the policy with them, let them know that we take this policy seriously.
That's great advice. I'll put this policy on the agenda for our next team meeting. Thanks.
One of the things, too, that we haven't talked about that you might want to share with your team is that if someone is being harassed in the workplace, that if they feel comfortable, they should just tell that person to stop. That stops the harassment most of the time. However, if they're uncomfortable going to the harasser, then by talking to your team about this, they will feel comfortable coming to you and letting you know so that you can handle the situation.
Okay, so no matter what, I need to report allegations of discrimination because I'm a supervisor. I had no idea.
That's right, and that's why we're going over this together. If you get a complaint, you need to come to me right away. All complaints of discrimination shall be investigated, and that may be you and I will go and talk to our employees, or we will go to Human Resources and they will conduct an investigation.
It says in the policy that this process will be confidential. If we're talking to the employees, talking with HR, how are we keeping it confidential? Don't people figure out what's happening?
That's a really good point, Archie. Confidentiality is very important. It's to protect everyone that's involved. As a supervisor, we have to be confidential. We can't talk to anybody about it. Does that make sense? So if we talk to our employees, they may know what we're asking about. They may know the situation. However, we need to remind them to remain confidential.
Okay, but what if I'm just telling a joke to my office mate and we don't mean any harm? Is there really a problem?
It can be, yes. That's a great question. You have to be really careful and know who's around, because even though you may be just joking around with an office mate, if it offends somebody in a protected class, it could be a violation of this policy. So even though your intent was to be with a friend and talk with a friend, if it offends someone, it is a violation of this policy. Another example of that could be that it's the appearance of impropriety. Even though your intention or your friend's intention was to just talk with you and have a joke with you, it's the appearance of impropriety that they have to be careful about.
I'm starting to feel like this policy is going to have me walking on eggshells.
I don't want you to feel that way. You don't need to walk on eggshells. Really, all of this comes back to common sense. One of the things that I like to ask, Archie, is, if I'm talking to somebody about a situation, is how would you feel if someone behaved that way towards someone you love, such as your spouse, child, or parent? Or I may ask, would you be embarrassed to see your remarks or behavior reported in the newspaper or broadcast on the radio? Would you be embarrassed to see your remarks or behavior described to your family? Those are the things that I like to ask because that's common sense. And if they can answer yes to these and that they feel fine about that, then it's okay to say what you have to say. One of the things about common sense is just be kind and think before you act. Know your audience.
Great advice. Be kind. I'm going to use that when I talk to my team about this in our next meeting.
I'm glad this was helpful. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always come talk to me or talk to our HR manager. We're both happy to help.
Hey there, it's me again. I hope you found Veronica's perspective as educational as Archie did. As you now know, supervisors need to be especially aware of this policy because you're required to report prohibited conduct or complaints of discrimination. To finish this course, there's one more thing you need to do, which is take a short quiz that covers this policy. Good luck!